Welcome everyone to today's session. We are now live. We're going to be talking about competitor analysis again this week. I thought the session last week was really useful, if I do say so ourselves. Great to see some fantastic campaigns, and we've got some awesome websites doing some great stuff to look at today as well. So as always, doesn't matter what business, doesn't matter what industry or what market, what location the sites that we're looking at are in or serve. We're looking for the takeaways that we can apply to our business, our market. And there are always lessons to be had from other people in different spaces, because quite often those are the strategies that aren't being used in our space. So if we take something that's working really well in B2B and apply it B2C, awesome. That's when the good stuff can happen. Good morning, folks. Good morning, Brendan. Good morning, Dirty Old Goat. Good morning, Jonathan. Good morning, Simon. Good to see you all. If you want to add your competitor to the list, then feel free to drop them into the chat window. What you'll need to do, we can't share URLs in the YouTube chat because it kind of removes them or thinks that you're spamming. Good morning, B. Good morning, Rob. What you need to do is write like your domain space com, right, instead of yourdomain.com. So stick your competitors in there. We got Mark Rowland on the Exposure Ninja live chat today. He's freaking awesome. I mean, Dale's amazing, Mark's amazing. So if you've got any questions that I don't get to see in the chat, then Mark will do everything he can to answer them. He's the best educated marketing person I know. But by that, I mean he's read every marketing book. He knows stuff about behavioral stuff that, when I'm feeling really stupid, I go and talk to Mark. So good morning, Edward. Good morning, Simon. Good morning, Tim. We've got a bunch of sites to get through today. Mark's a slow typer, so pummel him with questions and see how he capitulates under pressure. Okay, we're going to get stuck into some sites straight away. We are going to look at some sites in different spaces, including B2B e-commerce, B2C e-commerce. We're going to look at travel. We're going to look at one site I'm really loving, a site that sells home health tests and coronavirus tests, as an example of sites that have kind of pivoted and are making the most of this. We've also got fragrances, we've got home office, we've got office furniture as well, which is kind of interesting. What a time to be in that space. Lots and lots of different sites. Like I said at the start, the value is not in seeing something and saying, oh, that wouldn't work for my business. The value is in seeing something in a completely different space and thinking, how can I use this? How can I apply this in my market that it might never have been used before in? Okay, this first example I think is a really, really great site. Melanie Hubs, nearly in his PJs again. Right, there we go. You should be able to see the screen. So this is Supply House. I don't know who submitted this site and if they're on the call. It's US, so probably not on the call. But if it is your competitor, then drop us a note in the channel. Okay, so we're going to have a look at, same as always, a little bit of conversion optimization, website layout, that type of stuff. And then we're going to pick the marketing channels that hold the most potential for this type of business. So for example, Supply House, it's all going to be about commercial search. It's going to be about informational search and informational social. So predominantly things like YouTube. And they're probably not going to be smashing 10 million likes per post on Instagram. So we'll focus on the areas that are most relevant for each business. And of course, we're looking at what they're doing well, but we're also looking for opportunities. So if you see anything that you think they could be doing better, then drop it in the chat and contribute, because the more eyes we can get on these sites, the better, so we can figure out what they're doing well. So, okay, Supply House. First thing, pictures of people. In fact, this is something that comes across quite a lot on this site, is they've got pictures of people everywhere, which for a plumbing supply company, which it looks like this is, we have different types of plumbing and heating products, clearly aimed at trade predominantly, it would appear. the fact that we've got people everywhere, kind of unusual, but I absolutely love it, because this is one thing that competitors maybe won't be going towards. They'll be kind of avoiding this type of stuff. So high quality photography with people, branded photos. These are clearly not stock people. It really wouldn't work unless they had here the supply house boxes. Makes it look completely legit. So love that. Yeah, love these. I mean, there's just people everywhere, isn't it? This is almost like a trendy, people-focused startup. It doesn't feel like a plumbing supply business. So, a couple of things that works, because in this space, a lot of it is about communication and trust, which is really important. So they're building that. If it wasn't about that, like if this was the coronavirus testing site, for example, that also does sexually transmitted infections, you probably don't want to see people all over the place there, because you don't want to be feeling like you're, exposing your test results to these people. But for this business, for building trust, amazing. So as we're looking through the pages on the site, I just want you to be mindful of how they're using pictures of people to build trust and credibility. Okay, so we've got different product categories here. And they've got pictures of them. Another thing I would focus on here is that images are high quality and they match, right? It's quite difficult to get something like one of those air conditioning units. How do you get an image of that matches a pipe without destroying the look of the site? Because they're air conditioning units, you're not going to be taking a photo of as a kind of flat lay in a studio environment, but they've done it. So the images look great, they match. It feels like it's all part of the same thing. It feels like they're using their own images rather than just pulling them from suppliers, which would bring just a complete mishmash here. So far, loving this. I think it's possibly one of the best sites of this type I've seen. Okay. We're going to have a look at visibility in a minute, search organic visibility. So this is one of their category pages for plumbing supplies. Okay, so very important page for this site. One of the sorts of pages that they'd want to get ranked for things like plumbing supplies. They might be driving ad traffic to plumbing supply type terms here as well. So, needs to be a decent page. And to be fair, it is. There's a lot of product categories here, so possibly some kind of filter thing might really help. So we get whether we have like pipes and connectors or something, and then we can kind of filter people through that way. Might be something to look at. To be fair, they've got this mega menu here, but again, it would make sense to have these things categorized. They've got things broken down in alphabetical order, which is okay. But if I don't figure out that it's alphabetical order, I'm hunting through a lot of different options here. So I think there's opportunity to categorize these a little bit better to help people get to the stuff that's most relevant for them as quick as possible. And if you run an e-commerce site like this and you find that people are using the search bar a lot, that can be an indication that the other structure, the other navigation of the site is a little bit problematic, because you don't tend to want people having to use the search bar too much because they have to type and it's much more difficult. So obviously exceptions for things like Amazon, which are built around a very good search. Typically a site like this would be using an off-the-shelf search, which would struggle a lot more. Okay, so categorization here I think would be quite a big thing. Looking at the search engine optimization of this page, we've got a bit of text at the top and then we've got a bit of text at the bottom. So you'll often hear us talking as Exposure Ninja about text on category pages. Really important to get them ranking. They've got not one but two blocks of text on this page with links through to other subcategories as well, which is nice. Okay, so let's have a look at one of these product categories then. Pipe fittings and nipples. I will never be mature enough not to find that funny. Okay, we've got a similar thing here. I mean, it's like the TK Maxx bargain bin, isn't it? So there's a lot of stuff to get through to find the thing that's right for me. So we could categorize this in many ways. You could have categorization images at the top, which are like copper, PVC, black, brass, and people can click on the colors and then that kind of filters down the selection here, because for me this is a category page is almost it's almost a conversion blocker for me. It adds less value than it than it should. So yeah, it's just really overwhelming. Having said that, the images make it easy to find the thing that you're looking for if you're going to recognize it, which their target audience would. So let's just go down here and see what we've got. Right, okay, so here we've got a category page which actually has this filter structure at the top, and it's much nicer, much easier to use. So I don't understand why they don't use this on their other category pages. This looks like a great page in that we're helping people kind of categorize nice and quickly. I mean, there's still quite a lot of options to choose through, so maybe there's a step below this, but it feels like they've got a huge product selection and they haven't yet figured out how to get people to those products as quickly as possible. So if I was competing against a site like this, that usability piece would be something I would focus on intently, because at the moment it's taking me 5 or 6 clicks to find the thing I need. As for the individual product listings on a product category page, these are great. I mean, they're massive listings, but look at, they realize that a lot of these are commodity purchases. I don't need to go on this page and read, 500 words of product selection advice and, testimonials from loads of people. I need to know, what is it? What are the stats? Who's it made by? Pretty much exactly what they've given me here. And then what's the price? And then now I can just buy, and not only is this a quick add to cart, they've actually got quantities, so I can actually add straight to the cart from there, and it tells me all the stuff I need to do, like all the stuff I need to know, like we've got 79k of them in stock, so I should be all right, and it tells me when I'm going to get them as well, which is nice. Pretty long delivery time, so another way I'd maybe compete with this is go pretty aggressive with how quickly I can get these out, knowing that a lot of plumbers are going to be needing this stuff right now. Okay, let's have a look at the product pages before we move on to checking out wider visibility. So decent looking product pages, like we've got the people back, so easy returns. So why is that person's face there about returns? There's no reason, he's not the head of returns, but hey, it's just building credibility, isn't it? Let's just get the face there, and then it shows that we're being legit, we're being cool. I like it. And then we've got this questions block here as well. Speak with a real person who will go out of their way to help. And then we've got 4 different ways of talking to them. Love it, love it, love it. Great. Nice phone number as well. They appreciate their target audience. Nice review categorization. Yeah, the product pages are great. Product pages are really good for this type of product. It's just the category pages that are somewhat problematic. Okay. Let's have a look at their visibility. Let's see what they're doing to get some traffic to the site, and let's see how we could beat it if we were competing. So we're going to go domain overview on supplyhouse.com. Now I think they're US targeting. SEMRUSH, by the way, you can get a free trial of SEMRUSH if you go to thankyouninjas.com. SEMRUSH has just this week added this worldwide tab, which is great because it allows you to see worldwide visibility, which I think is like a combination of each of the different regions. Really useful. We can see that they're targeting the US mainly or exclusively, not too sure. But here we've got their US visibility. So some quick stuff that we're scanning through immediately. We can see an authority score of 59, which means pretty decent level of optimization has gone on here. We've got organic search traffic of 608k, which is pretty decent. So that's telling me there's probably some... Either they're ranking really well for all their commercial terms, like really well, or they've got some informational content that's ranking as well, which should be a big play for them with the space that they're in. We've got paid search traffic going on, not a huge amount, but quite a bit. We've got a lot of backlinks to the site as well with reasonable number of referring domains. So we'll have a look at all of these things as we go. Okay, I've just noticed the engagement metrics as well from August. I'm not sure how they're getting this, SEMRUSH. I would take all of this stuff with a pinch of salt. Data is taken from traffic analytics. Okay, interesting. I would definitely take this with a pinch of salt for things like average visit duration of 9 minutes. I would be blown out of my mind if average visit duration on that site was 9 minutes. I'm fully prepared to be proved wrong, but that would completely... destroy my brain if that was the case. Oh, someone said, can we shrink the video window? Yes, there you go. Okay, Right, let's have a look at their search traffic and see where it's coming from and what sort of keywords are bringing in these visitors. Wow, look at this. Okay, we love this shape. Okay, so this is basically giving us an estimate of how much traffic is coming through to the site from organic search, and how it's compiling this data is SEMRUSH looks at all of the different keywords that this site is ranking for. It looks at the position the site is ranking in, the volume of each of those keywords, and it works out how much traffic it should be getting based on the position it's in. Okay, so it's like a whole bunch of different metrics put together, and that gives us this estimate of how much traffic the site is getting. By the way, we've just recorded a video comparing the metrics of some different SEO tools in this area, like how much traffic is a site getting. It's fascinating. We tested 4 tools: SEMRUSH, Ahrefs, SERPstat and SpyFu, to see which one had the most accurate traffic projections for each site. We used Exposure Ninja clients so we could see their analytics and we could see exactly how much traffic they were getting, and then we tried the tools out against them to see how close they got. SEMRUSH was the closest, Ahrefs was close second, SpyFu, SERPstat completely, ridiculous numbers, nothing like reality. So with any tool, you've got to take these sorts of numbers with a pinch of salt, but know that SEMRUSH is one of the most, in fact in our test it was the most accurate. Okay, so what are we looking at here? We're looking at the keywords the site's ranking for. We're looking at the position on Google it's ranking. So position 1 is top of Google, position 2 is second on Google. We've got the search volume, so how many times this phrase is being searched per month. This is an estimate, and an estimate of the percentage of traffic it's picking up for that term. We've also got the URL that is ranking for that term as well, which is really, really important. We'll be looking at pages that are ranking in just a bit. First thing we do, just have a quick look and see what sort of phrases they're ranking for. Plumbing supply store, number 1, awesome. Supply house, 49,500 searches per month, ranking number 1. That tells us there's a lot of brand visibility here. Supply house, if you're getting that much brand traffic, if you're getting that many people searching for your business, then you're going to be ranking well for a whole bunch of stuff because Google's going to see you as an authority anyway. Plumbing supply, number 2, okay. HVAC supply, number 1. Electrical supply house near me, number 1. Plumbing supply house near me, number 1. Loads of really good rankings here. Where they're not as good at ranking seems to be individual product terms. So water heater, position 11, 135,000 searches for those. Those are going to be nice, high average order value, I would imagine, searches, and possibly people that are taking on larger jobs. So that would be the sort of traffic that I'd be going after if we were looking at doing SEO for this site. Let's just have a look at the page that's ranking for this. The page that's ranking is residential water heaters. Interestingly, it's one of those category pages that doesn't have as much content on. So that's kind of interesting because they've put loads of effort into their top level category pages, but a page like this, where average order value is pretty decent, right? We're looking at average order value of, I don't know what a typical heater is. They've got stuff here between $400 and a couple $1,000. So it's going to be healthy. It's going to be worth putting together a little bit of text copy for it. So I'll be looking at building out those pages, and if I was competing against them, I'd probably go for individual product terms that are higher value, and I'd build out really detailed information on those category pages and get some links to those category pages to see if we can get them ranking. Okay, other product terms they seem to be doing much better for, so things like pipe fittings, Honeywell thermostat not doing so well there. So they're ranking really well for lots of stuff, but they could be doing better. Ranking number 1 for black nipples, which clearly Google's this is, Rank Brain is all about understanding the intent behind people's searches, and clearly there's been some work done there. Okay, so some decent rankings. Now, the one thing I'm not seeing, if we just let's have a look at the pages that they're ranking best for. The one thing I'm not seeing, if we have a look at these pages that are ranking on the site, there's a good news, bad news thing here, right? Good news is the pages that are ranking, or the pages that are bringing in the most traffic, are commercial pages. These are their product category pages, okay? That plumbing supply page that we looked at got good traffic volume. electrical supplies, same thing. So all of these top level pages are getting some good ranking. They're getting some good traffic. But for most sites, the opportunity to rank commercial pages is much smaller than the amount of traffic you can get for informational pages. So that's not to say that commercial pages shouldn't be their focus. Absolutely they should. But there's an opportunity, if they're getting an estimated 193k organic search visits, which if we take with a pinch of salt, judging by our kind of research on SEMRUSH, that number is going to be in the right order of magnitude. Okay, so it might be between 100k, it might be 400k, but it's going to be in that order of magnitude. They could probably get another double that again by targeting informational terms with great info content. So I'm a little bit surprised to see that the informational content isn't ranking as well as their product pages, because all of these top pages are actually commercial pages. So if I'm going up against them, I'm going heavy on informational content. I'm really surprised they haven't done more of this. So let's have a look at their resources section and see what's going on here. So we've got the blog, we've got a video library, and we've got calculators. All of these should be great organic traffic magnets, but they don't seem to be. Let's have a look at their boiler BTU calculator. Okay, need information about this, because this is a commercial page, but it's an information. It's kind of a hybrid, isn't it? Because you're searching for this if you're looking for a calculator, if you're looking for a boiler. So it's an informational page, but for a commercial searcher, need more information on this page in order to help it rank. So the calculators show potential. What else did we have? We had the video library and the blog. Okay, the video library isn't going to get much ranking. The blog is potentially. Right, but the blog seems to be mostly video, right? These don't seem to be. Right, here we go. This is how you take down this site or compete with them. Is the friend. Okay. Right, this looks great. It's great that they're doing this. They've got 11k subs. That's awesome. I'm guessing they've got some really good informational content on this YouTube channel, and it's fantastic that they're doing it. If you're going up against them, you may or may not be able to beat them on this, but you probably can beat them on the fact that they seem to be putting all of their energy into video and not into written text, which is the stuff that's going to get ranked on Google. So we've got some... Wow, we got some really decent view videos here. Okay, cool. This is great, and they've been working at it for a while. If you're going up against them, probably not going to beat them on that, but what you do want to do is take that approach and apply it to your blog. So worked with a consultant for sales in the plumbing and heating trade, and one of the things that they found to be really transformational, by the way, the blog isn't secure, which could be another reason that it's not ranking. This subdomain hasn't been, the certificate's not working properly. One of the things that works really well for them was to do a shopping list. So if you're going to be reinstalling your heating system, what's the shopping list? What are the things that you need? Even if you're a professional, you might find that useful. And then, of course, they're on an e-commerce site, so you can just link to it, individual products, and people can just go down that. So what you might do is the ultimate guide to installing a new water heating boiler thingy, right? That's not the keyword, but find the keyword and the ultimate guide. And then you write it up, you embed the videos, and you include the shopping list to all the different products that you're featuring here, because that's something they're not doing. And the traffic, whatever traffic you can get for plumbing supplies, you can get like 5 times that from people looking for information about it. Even if you're targeting a trade audience that knows this stuff inside out, there's going to be questions that they've got, help that they need, which this business can answer. So huge opportunity there. I will be smashing that with all my might to get that working. Okay, let's have a look at their PPC strategy as well. Right, looks like we're running some Google search ads for lots of different product terms. They seem to be going particularly heavy on this PEX thing, which I gather is a type of pipe. So I don't know if this is like their thing, if they own this or they've just decided to go all in on it. It's mostly product terms, and we're driving straight to the category pages. Okay, fine, no objections there. Let's just have a look at some of the ad copy and see what sort of ads we're running here. Okay, they're using testimonials in the ad copy, which I'm a massive fan of. Immediate credibility, particularly if the search term doesn't necessarily warrant loads of extra explanation. Like if I search for a hydronic baseboard heater, I'm not like, oh, I wonder what a hydronic baseboard heater is. I probably know that thing, particularly if I'm not clicking on an ad. So the fact that we're selling the benefits of dealing with the business, they're focusing on the real people, real service thing again, fast shipping, friendly team, trusted by tradespeople. So it's all about credibility. This ad copy is all about credibility. Okay, not really talking about the features, not really talking about the range that they have. They're talking about credibility. This is why you should buy from us, which is a pretty safe bet, to be honest. Okay, so ad copy looks pretty good. No complaints with the text ads. Let's have a look at the product listing ads, which are the Google Shopping ads, and see what we can see here. Okay, now obviously they're not targeting, you know, you don't get to choose the keywords that you're targeting with product listing ads. So these are going to be drawn from the product pages themselves, but you can attach, you know, negative keywords if you see one of these products is showing up for incorrect terms. Okay, right, if I'm going up against this, I want to have a look at all of the products that they've got listed here. And what I'm looking for is I'm looking for commonalities with the price, because I need to find out if they're running, I mean, if we just scan down this price column, it looks like they're mostly running Google Shopping ads for higher ticket items, which is, you know, fairly obvious. We do have some stuff which is low cost, but on the whole, it's the higher priced items, you know, which makes sense. If you're selling a $5 product, unless, you know, the average order value is high because that's the first product that someone buys in a whole, you know, in their shopping list, you might be paying 10 cents a click. You've got to convert a lot of them to make, you know, to make profit on it. Okay, so paid side of things looks fine. Not running huge volume, but they've got a lot of products in that. It's really the organic search and the content side of things I would absolutely slam if I was competing against this. Okay, right. So a great example of a site doing some stuff well, some stuff really well, and some holes left to fill. So we've got people dropping in their sites here. I've got a few lined up, so I'll just crack through these as quickly as we can, and then we will move on. So what have we got here? This is Lux Deco. This looks like a furniture, maybe luxury furniture sales, e-commerce. Interestingly, from that site, which was all about plumbing supplies, to this site, the first thing that comes across is all the personality is taken out, isn't it? And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It might be right. It's just an interesting observation, considering that I would imagine if this business has a store and you ask them what's the USP, they would probably say something about service. And yet when you come on the site, that experience isn't there. So yeah, I wonder about that, and whether there's some opportunity to push that further. Now, the style guide edition 4 is the main thing that we're seeing as soon as we land on this page. I totally disagree with that approach. I'd say let's shrink this section up a bit so we've got something poking out above the fold. We need to be setting we need to set the scene here, immediately anchor the website user into what they're looking at and get them in the frame of mind, right? This is an aspirational purchase, so I'd much rather see aspirational images which would indicate the sort of setup that, you know, that this target audience are aspiring to, We've got a bit of that on the front cover here, but not a huge amount. And I think this is very, it's very, I was going to say narcissistic. It's very focused on themselves to be thinking that the style guide is the thing that people are most interested in when they land on this page. I would contest that. Okay, shop the collection. So it looks like we can browse by room. Then we've got featured brands. Then we've got a podcast, which is great. Shows they've committed to content. And we've got some featured products. Okay. Which kind of anchors price a little bit, sets the scene. Looks like we've got some information type content here. Okay, and we've got a bit of about. I'd probably lead with that image, to be honest. And maybe that description as well. This tells us more about what the business is and what this website is about than this does. So let's use that, because that's going to be the thing that sets the scene. The fact that this is a curated destination, this isn't just a, you know, Amazon throw it all on type thing, and the fact that we've got discovery and shopping, I think that would be the thing that I'd probably lead with. Okay, right. Okay, so let's look at the menu structure and see how this is working. Okay, so here we have a much more ordered menu structure. If we compare this to the last example, where it was you hover over one category and you see just a list of subcategories without any kind of further breakdown. Here they've subcategorized each of them, which I think makes a lot of sense and reduces the number of choices that we're forced to break between. You don't typically want to give people too many choices. We tend to find more than 7 choices and they forget what the first choices were. It's like when you get into a phone loop and press 1 for this, press 2 for this. By the time you get to 7, you've forgotten what 1 was, so you end up having to press hash to go all the way around again. We don't want to give people too many choices to choose from, so we want to give them very easy choices to make. That reduces the kind of mental load we're forcing them to go through. And it's very easy for me to choose between living room and bedroom. That's a no-brainer choice. And then I'm only having to look through options inside the bedroom. Okay, so let's say that we're going for wardrobes. Let's see how this works. So we're going to the designer wardrobes category page. We've got some text copy here, which is nice. And we've got a piece of content about 12 ways to organize your wardrobe. Let's see what that is. That's the style guide blog. Love it, love it, love it. Great, fantastic. Love that. I love that they've even embedded these in here. Yeah. Love it when people combine their content with their products. Great. Okay, we've got the filtering down here, which looks good. Okay, nice product images all match. This isn't just gumph sent from the supplier that they've slapped on thinking, hey, we're a drop shipping business. This is easy. Let's have a look at a product page. Okay, so product images. Yeah, I mean, it's all right, but I'm expected to spend £1,300 on a wardrobe I haven't seen inside. Tough gig, that. There's not enough information on this page. We've got these subcategories, not massively convincing. Do I even know what this is made out of? Koto High Gloss. What is that? Right, so... it's a shame. They've got a lot of products, so obviously this is difficult. But hey, e-commerce is freaking difficult. Making money online is difficult. Let no one tell you this is easy. So if you're going to be selling, if you want to sell a lot of these, you've got to do the work. And they are not doing the work. That is not the work. That is a lazy approximation of the work. So this needs to be better. I'm hoping this is only one and it's the worst one that we could possibly find. Let's see if there's anything more desirable in these other products. Okay, so we've got a bit more here. Okay, we can at least see this product from all angles, which is a fairly important part of the decision-making process. We can see it in context as well. Okay, cool. We can see all the colors. Now, it'd be nice to be able to see the product in different colors so I can see what it looks like. Yeah, for me, this is still a conversion blocker. I'm not sure it would be possible to buy this product. For a lot of people, it's not going to be possible to buy this product. I can't see what it looks like in a 2-seater. I can't see what the proportions look like. I can't see it in the color that I'm going to be buying. I've got no idea what Wenge looks like. I've got no idea what the combination of these two look like and if I'm going to be making a mistake. So yeah, it's a shame. For me, this needs much, much better sales. Let me know what you think in the chat. Like, would you buy from this? And I'm not saying would you buy a 4.5K sofa. Like, if this was your type of sofa and this was your budget, would you be buying this, or would you find this difficult to buy? B says, yeah, find it annoying as a user. Absolutely, because you come onto a site like this and you don't have the information to make the purchase. You might really want this, but you can't buy it because unless you're willing to, they're making this to order. It's going to take 10 weeks. This isn't like ASOS where you order a few and then you send 2 of them back. This is a commitment. It's a big commitment. And I can't see what it looks like. Oh, wash out. Yeah, so really not good. But other than that, the site looks pretty good. Okay, let's have a look at visibility. Let's see what they're doing to drive traffic to this site. And I'm sure we'll find some good stuff because it looked like their content was pretty good. So let's hope that we got some decent rankings for informational terms as well. Oh, okay, I love this traffic trend. Yes. Okay, so we're at US and UK. Let's go for, well, we did the last one was US. Let's go for their UK visibility and see what's going on here. I'm assuming they do ship to the UK. Well, it says over £100, so I'm guessing that they do. Right. Okay, what have we got? So we've got reasonable traffic, nice traffic growth. I love that. Let's have a look at their top keywords. Okay. This looks good. This looks good. Driving a decent volume of search traffic as well, which is cool. So I'm hoping that they're being fairly aggressive here. Lux Deco, 6,500 searches a month. Not huge, but we'll take that. They've got competitors. It would appear they've got competitors bidding £48 on their branded term, which means that they obviously are considered a threat in the space to attract that sort of competition level. What are we ranking for? Luxury furniture, number 1. Modern interior design, number 1, interesting. And it's the style guide, which is ranking for that. So that's kind of interesting. We'll come back to the pages that are ranking in just a minute. Looks like we're ranking for a fair few informational type searches here. Very different to the first example that we saw, where the equivalent would be, ranking for luxury sofa, luxury beds, all that type of stuff. You definitely want to be targeting, but there's much more search volume for things like table settings, modern interior design, which are kind of broader informational terms. So you want both, but you definitely want both. You don't just want one or the other. Designer bedside table. Okay, so the designer and luxury phrases, these would be the ones that I'd be targeting, and it looks like they are with luxury bedside table, designer bedside table, luxury dining chairs as well. Okay, so obviously these are lower search volumes than things like, luxury beds or phrases like that, I'd imagine. Designer desk ranking position 2. So they're on the cusp of some real dominant visibility here. Luxury sofa position 5, good keyword search volume. I mean, pretty low CPCs for these types of phrases, considering what average order value is going to look like. So that's kind of interesting. Maybe that's what's lured them into running some Google ads, which we'll have a look at in a minute. So let's have a look at the pages that are ranking to see what the split is between their commercial pages and the informational page. Okay, right, here we go. So this is what we were talking about, in that the potential of informational content to drive traffic is so huge. And if we look through here, what do we see? We see most of the top traffic generating pages are in the blog section. So style guides, pretty much all style guides, in fact. So let's have a look at these. Grey living room color scheme combination. So that's someone that is in the buying journey. They might not be ready to buy yet. They're not looking for particular pieces, but they're looking for inspiration, which exactly what this is all about. I mean, that is beautiful, isn't it? I mean, that is objectively beautiful. Okay. Right. So we've got a really nicely formatted page here. Lots of images, which is obviously what people are coming into this for. Yeah, got lots of alternative. I mean, this is just a great authoritative piece. We've got links through to category pages. The one thing I would possibly do to be pushing this a little bit further will be having some sort of shopping list for this particular image, because if people are seeing, oh yeah, do you know what, I really like this look, I'd love to just buy this thing, well, maybe we could just link through to, well, here are the items in this, like categorize them all, and we can go through to a category page which lists all the items in this image. That will be the ultimate. And these, by the way, might not be real. You know, this doesn't need to be a house. This can be a rendering. You can give this to a graphic illustrator and say, these are the products, put this into a home, and they will do this. So you don't need to spend tens of thousands of pounds dressing rooms and having professional photography to do that. Each of these images might cost a few £100s to do, but look at the credibility it gives you, and look at how this elevates the site and would do such a good job of selling these. In fact, I'm pretty sure that some of these are renders. So, yeah. Okay. It's looking good. It's looking good. I like the depth of this page, the length, the balance of images, and text copy. Great. I'd like to see some sort of CTA. They spoke about looking for help on some of the product category pages, so or some of the product pages. So could you just get people into a consultation CTA? Perhaps might be something worth testing. Can we put together a plan for people? Is there like an interior design service that you offer, which is building out that thing for them? So, but this looks great, and it's good to see them running that sort of strategy. So it looks like they're doing that at scale, which is great to see. And then we've got some of the collections pages doing some heavy lifting here. Let's have a look at this designer sofas page. Okay, so a bit of inconsistency there. We got designer sofas in the URL, luxury sofas in the heading there, and luxury sofas and designer sofas in the page title. So I'd pick one and maybe make a second page which targets the other one, just to do everything we could to rank for that term. There's not much text copy on this page. I'd probably make that the luxury or designer sofa guide as well, rather than just the sofa guide. Oh, this looks good. This looks tasty. Oh, yes, yes. This, friends, is what we call a knowledge base. We do quite a lot of these exposure images. We actually just ran a study on our knowledge-based clients and found that not only did they increase traffic, they also increased conversion, which is kind of interesting as well. So this is where you fill a section of the site full of content about a particular topic. Evergreen. This isn't answering people's particular questions. This is just as much information as you can on that topic, knowing that Google loves to rank this sort of, it's kind of a magazine type information site, isn't it? So yeah, that looks great. Okay, let's have a look at their advertising. So we've got ads in the US and the UK, it looks like. Let's see what we've got in the UK for, oh, whoa. Okay, if you can see a problem, let me know. If you can see a problem with the keywords that they're targeting in their ads, let me know. What do you see? What do you see? I'm getting palpitations here. In fact, I'm about to vomit. This is awful. I mean, it's great if you're competing against them, but it's bad if you are this business. What do we see? What do we see in here? We see ads running for the phrase Ralph Lauren. Why is this a disaster? 246,000 searches a month. CPCs of £1.46. Estimating spending 17k a month, or actually no more than that, 22k a month on ads for Ralph Lauren. Right, they might sell Ralph Lauren furniture. They do sell Ralph Lauren furniture. I don't care. The number of people searching for Ralph Lauren who are looking to buy furniture is so small, you don't want to be getting into that argument. The number of people that have the money to spend on Ralph Lauren furniture who are searching for Ralph Lauren, I don't even want to think about. The percentage is so small. This is not the same audience. Need to get out of that as quickly as possible. There is so much garbage in here. They're wasting, it looks to me like they're wasting almost all of their ad budget, right? Anything that's not luxury, designer, or a specific brand, I wouldn't even touch for this space. Artificial flowers in a vase? Are you freaking kidding me? For a 10,000 volume search term, you're going to be bidding on that with what ad? Luxury artificial flowers? I mean, you just wouldn't bother. You just would not bother. This is such a typically price-oriented search. The people that search for, what's that, artificial flowers in vase, usually they're not going to be this audience. Some of them will be, but luxury flowers in vase, that type of thing, definitely go for all day long. Hammer it. But some of these lower end terms, just don't touch it. So if I'm going up against this business, well, I mean, there's two things. They're spending dumb money, but they're spending it in the wrong places. So I just go super aggressive on the designer terms, and I just leave them to waste all their money on large cushions, which is predominantly going to be people, statistically speaking, that's most likely to be people who are looking for like low cost cushions, right? It's not that audience, completely different audience. This is luxury cushions, designer cushions. Oh gosh. This is disgraceful. So, having done a lot of stuff right from an organic perspective, from a paid perspective, awful. And whatever they spent, you typically see this thing when they're working with an ad management agency that are charging on a percentage of ad spend. So they're like, hey, we'll charge you 20% of your ad fee to manage your ads. So what's happening now? The agency is incentivized to spend as much money as possible on the ads. So they say to the client, well, let's just bid on Ralph Lauren. You got some Ralph Lauren stuff. Let's give that a go. Artificial flowers. A lot of search volume for that. Bedside table lamps. Let's go for it. And the business is like, okay, not knowing that the agency is actually working against them, trying to get them to spend as much as possible. So this is... Yeah, you can sense the visceral reaction I'm having against this. This is awful. Okay, so don't do that. Right, let's have a quick look at their Insta and their Pinterest, as let's have a look at their YouTube as well. It's probably their primary social channels. This looks decent. It's super high end. Right, this is exactly the sort of, yeah, love it. It's easy to see why they've got a good following. This is heavily curated, lots and lots of carousel posts, which obviously increase engagement. This is their natural habitat. And it's great. However, it's not going to drive the volume of traffic that search can if they get it right. And that the ads can if they get it right. I mean, this looks brilliant. It's brilliant. So collaborations with high-end influencers, that type of thing, would be a great way of increasing visibility even further. What do we have here? I'd imagine that these are going to be pinned quite a lot. Yeah, I mean, their real strength is images. If I was going up against this, I'd probably find a graphic illustrator type person who can almost be on the team full time just to make beautiful images of my products in situ. I would go heavy on this, because this is very clearly an area for this is that's YouTube not so good. Okay, let's move on. There's potential. They've dropped the ball in places. Right, we want to do a travel site. We had lots of requests for travel. Right, this is Gosheni Safaris. Let's have a look and see what we've got here. Okay. So what do we think about website layout so far? I'm personally not convinced. I think it looks pretty amateur, which can be endearing at times, don't get me wrong. But I think it needs to be at another level for this, really. It feels to me like there's no consideration put into how people navigate through the site. If I'm competing against this, firstly, I want a lead gen somewhere very, very, very prominent immediately. Looking for a Safari, want to talk to someone about Safari, fin details here, that type of thing. No reason not to. You're not going to get a conversion rate of 10% on homepage for that, but you're going to get some, and you're going to get the people that, you know, can't be bothered, I'm busy, I've got to do something else, I've got to go and do this thing quick, blah, blah, blah. Right, that's ticked off the mental to-do list, let's go. So I'd have some kind of lead capture there. This feels to me like they don't understand SEO at all. We are Gosheni Safaris. I know you are. So all of that is telling me is that I don't know SEO because that, you know, that is an opportunity to really set the scene. We should be setting the scene by, you know, what is this? Top safari tour operators in Africa, right? Welcome to the top safari tour operator in Africa. Then I'm targeting tour operator in Africa, right? Safari tour operator in Africa. Those types of phrases are going to be covered by that. That is rubbish. Yeah, it just feels like, it feels unprofessional. It feels like it hasn't been thought through particularly. Okay, menu. Right, this needs drop downs, obviously. So if you're competing against this, you're having drop downs. If you've got lots of different destinations to help people get through this, because this is a difficult thing to do, right? Let's say I'm going to Botswana. How do I get there? What am I looking for? Well, firstly, I don't know where they actually cover. Do they work in Botswana? If I had a safaris and tours and then I had all of the different locations underneath that, then that would be great. Or destinations, similar thing. If I had drop downs there, so I didn't actually need to click on destinations and do the research to find out if I'm even in the right place, that would really help. Okay, so this is a combination of information. It's a product category page, isn't it? Okay, so we've got our top rated tours. Let's just see what we've got. We do have Botswana. I'm in luck. The other thing to think about in this space is obviously during lockdown, their bookings are going to be like nothing. So you've got three options, right? You pivot, which for this business probably isn't really a viable one. You go into total hibernation, just try and reduce costs and wait it out. Or you say, right, we're going to use this time to build up visibility. We're going to use this time to be aggressive. We've been busy for the last 10 years. Now we're not busy for probably the next 6 months. Let's go heavy on getting this stuff sorted. And by the way, let's have a lead capture so that if people come onto the site and they're not ready to book yet, but they know that they want to book in future, we can get them into an email thing so that when restrictions start lifting, we've been building this email list of people so that they're ready to go. We've got an audience that we can talk to. Okay, so I'm not a fan of this page at all. It's just super, it's like there's so many things going on, it's really difficult to navigate. Let's have a look at destinations. The other thing they should be doing is building static pages for each of these different destinations. So if we have a Botswana safaris page, and it's like the ultimate guide to booking safaris and tours in Botswana, happy days, because that's going to rank all year round. You can put the time in now to building out this kind of knowledge base of safari in Africa type content. Oh, this page is awful. If I'm competing against this, I'm happy. I'm ready to fill my boots. This is really poor. I'm sorry if this was submitted by the person who owns it. So I clicked on Botswana and this popped up. Right, we do actually have location pages. They're just really difficult to find. And there's almost no information on them. This is just a list of tours. Okay, so I build up this and just be super aggressive with that. To be honest, I mean, we can have a look at traffic generation, but they've got so much work to do on the site and around the content that if I was competing against them, that's where I'd be focusing. Not running any ads. No surprise, I wouldn't be running ads if that was my website. And let's have a look at their organic visibility. So not much. Again, unsurprising. I don't think it's ever been a focus for them. Nope. Got some visibility for informational terms. So Tanzania tribe. Okay, fine. I mean, there's really low relationship between that and, you know, I doubt that's even in the buyer journey at all, really. What to wear in a safari, Tanzania. Okay, so we've got the makings of a potential content strategy there. Kenya versus South Africa safari, go heavy on that type of thing. Really good idea. Great idea for content. Where was that? Where is this? How do we find this on the site? But it's not a great post. It doesn't actually give me the comparison. It's really, nah. Yeah. So Look at the stuff they're doing. Do that better, not hard. Look at the stuff they're not doing. Do that better, very easy. Okay, crush them, destroy them. If that's your competitor, go for it. I don't mean destroy them, you know. Yeah, you know what I mean. Okay, next site we can have a look at. Has this been done for a GCSE IT project, says Simon. Ooh. Ralph Lauren have a lot of money to spend on the brand Ralph Lauren. Very good point, Simon. Yes, you don't want to be bidding on that. Yeah, you make a good point, Simon. Not everyone is ready for a public takedown of their site. It's a fairly brutal experience, as you can see. Okay, final one we're going to have time for today. Let's Get Checked.com, which was sent by one of their competitors. I love this because obviously it's like home health testing kits, and they've completely piggybacked on the coronavirus thing, which all power to you. Let's use this experience for whatever we can. Let's use this as a platform to build amazing businesses. So that's great. Okay. Let's look at what they're doing well. Good looking site, no complaints. In fact, it's a world-class looking site. Got their own app, which looks great. Illustration, very clear brand image, very clear brand color scheme and icons. Everything has been really well thought through. This is clearly a very successful operation. This is if you're in this space, this is the benchmark site I would imagine to be going up against. Love how they've presented these testimonials as well. This is fantastic. A combination of Trustpilot and actually, you know, reviews that Google can index. So that's great. We've got loads of credibility here from the places we've been featured. Yeah, if I'm competing against this, I'm like, okay. At least we've got an example of someone who's doing a really good job. Okay, let's have a quick look at how their navigation works. Okay, so this is a great example. They've got 3 different levels of category showing here, right? Think about it. So in the first example that we looked at, the plumbing site, what were they struggling with? They were struggling with the fact that they might have plumbing supplies, like copper pipes and tubing, and then like L pieces, right? So they got 3 category levels, and we had to go through those 3 category pages to get there, didn't we? What we can see here, they've got a really nice implementation of 3 different categories. So the first category is showing down the side, second category is showing across the top, third category is showing underneath here. Okay, and this is the sort of site that I've got to be careful when I'm clicking around in this live example. So let's go for something like a vitamin test. I can't think of anything awkward that would be triggered by. And let's see how this category page works. Okay, so we've got these different tests here. What's this? Right. Fine. Okay, I feel like this page is letting them down a little bit. Maybe it's because people know that they want a vitamin B12 test. So, you know, that's what they're here for. Product images, fine. One-time purchase. I'd probably want to sell that a bit more if I were them. Why should I subscribe? What's that going to tell me? Can I have a testimonial for someone who's subscribed to that? Great, so we've got some videos, this is good. Okay, I mean, it's a pretty simple, straightforward sale, but yeah, okay. I feel like the homepage did a better job than this product page. Let's have a look at their content, because this, I mean, driving traffic to a site like this, you know, you have infinite work to do. And that's a really good thing, by the way, because there are so many symptoms, there are so many informational searches. The number of people looking for vitamin B12 deficiency test versus the number of people that need a vitamin B12 deficiency test is so small. So this is one of those businesses where that's the percentage of people that know they need your product, and this is the percentage of people that need your product. So how do we get to this group if they don't know that they need your product? It's through content. So let's just have a look and see what they are doing with their content strategy, because I feel like this could be a real opportunity to compete against a site like this. Okay, US, UK, Canada. So 20,000 US searches. I would hope for this to be a little bit better. Something's going on here. They're not making the most of this. It looks like a very well-funded organization. It hasn't been going that long. So I'm thinking possibly, you know, VC or private equity backed. reasonable search volume, not huge. They've got partners with Walgreen and someone else I saw, like Target or someone in there. So there's a reasonable number of these searches. If I was going up against this, it would be these types of searches I'd be targeting. Yellow, green, discharge. Position 11, they've just dropped off page 1 for that. I would be going for, look at this, coronavirus test kit. I'd be going for coronavirus symptoms. How do I know if I've got coronavirus? Is my cough coronavirus? Herpes symptoms, you know, and then basically all the variations of possible symptoms for each of these different things. You know how WebMD has whatever, you know, you could say headache, cough, cancer, and up pops WebMD. I've got a headache and a cough. Is it cancer? That is the content strategy that this business needs to adopt. Let's have a look at the pages that are ranking, because I know this has been a bit of a topic today, but this art, right, they've got an articles section, but it's not driving much traffic considering how much. This is interesting. Let's have a look and see what's going on here. So this is their best performing one. How to naturally increase estrogen levels. Okay, so we've got the EAT piece here. We've got medically reviewed by. Okay, that's good. And then we've got a CTA. Well, I mean, what is that? They should be testing for whatever, women's health, estrogen or progesterone test, right? The CTA is whacked out. Rubbish. Okay. Better contents. This needs to be a much more detailed piece. It's not detailed enough. That'll be why it's not ranking, I would imagine. Yeah, this should be huge for them. And if I was competing against them, that's the angle I'd be taking, going really heavy on this. But not only how to increase estrogen levels, but symptoms of low estrogen, because I want to help people that have got a problem, which is the diagnosis, because then I can offer my thing. So this one, sorry if anyone's, you know, squeamish. This is perfect because it's an unknown problem, but it's a problem that people are asking. And of course, the answer to this problem is we'll get a test from us. So the CTA is very natural. But the CTA, you know, it's incorrect. We're pitching the coronavirus thing here. So the content strategy for beating this is pretty straightforward. They're almost there already. It just, yeah, it needs more of this and less of the other stuff. Yeah. Okay, and then build links to it as well. Okay, we're out of time. I'm really sorry, team. I've gone on one. I hope this has been useful. We've looked at a lot of content strategy today, which one of the reasons that I think it's so important and that it's worth looking at content strategy at the moment is because we are in a time now where a lot of businesses can't do a huge amount. You know, it might not even be worth running commercial searches for, you know, Safari type businesses, but you can be investing your time in building out content sections and knowledge bases so that when that intent comes back, you are there. So I'd be really targeting that. Yeah, why should I go for vitamin test? Yeah, reasons there. Great. Great stuff. Sarah says, how do you get an aggressive takedown? Sarah, at the moment we're doing competitors, but if you drop me an email, tim@exposureninja.com, and say you want this site reviewed, then we'll review it and rip it to pieces. By the way, we have a backlog of around 70 sites. So what we do is we collect all of the ones that have been submitted in the comments, put them in a big list, and then every week I just work through as many as I possibly can. So yeah, do feel free to submit them. Anyway, guys, I hope you found this useful. I've absolutely loved looking through these sites with you. Really, yeah, really enjoy looking at this stuff with you. And this is the time, you know, it looks like we're heading into lockdown again. Or some variation of lockdown. I don't know about you, but I get so pumped by the chaos that happens. I know it's easy for me to say because our business, we found a way to kind of thrive during this time, but I would encourage you, this is the time of the entrepreneur. This is the time of the innovator. When things get shaken up, we have an opportunity to configure how things fall and how they sit when they settle. So you got this. Have a good weekend, be strong, and I look forward to seeing you all next week. Thank you to Mark, who's been on the Exposure Ninja chat, absolute beast. Don't forget, if you want some help with your own digital marketing, then request a free website and marketing review. Yeah, Simon says you can recommend the Platinum video review. Absolutely. If you go through exposureninja.com/review, you'll complete a questionnaire about your business. We'll then review your website and give you some recommendations, just like we've done here, on the things to focus on to generate more leads and sales over the next 6 to 12 months. You'll also have the opportunity for the Platinum review, and the Platinum review will take a look at your Google Analytics data, so we'll go into even more detail, and we'll be able to give you feedback on specific user metrics and things that we can see from the data in your analytics, and we go into a bit more detail in the review itself as well. So let's go. Have a good weekend. Talk soon.